The U.S.
That was
accepted
the
any
actual
responsibility.
Well, I
for
haven't
that strike.
seen it, and I will say that the Tomahawk, which is one of the most powerful weapons around, is used by, is sold and used by countries. You know that.
I mean, no one will ever be held accountable for that in any way that matters, unfortunately.
I think if you're Gabbard, if you're Rubio, or resign in protest, and it's just, I think once again, like I have, we won't play it, but I have the link where Texas goes, we do not intentionally target civilians.
It doesn't matter if you did it intentionally or not. Like that makes very little difference to me. It's like it happened, and someone should be held accountable, but no one will be.
We're gonna end unfortunately on another doozy, but I think it's just necessary once again to learn this. Once again, am I becoming anti-war? It feels like it, but I don't want to act like I know enough about the world and what's going on. But I think once again we just see these things. Once again, they're changing the giraffe age. Maybe there's no coincidence to that, but I don't personally think so. We learn about all the stuff going on with like anti-Semitism and making laws about it and all this stuff, and then trying to deplatform everyone. Like we see people kind of going crazy hard in the paint. Where Tucker, I'm like, dude, like you're going like so hard on this, man. Like I'm surprised that like we're not gonna try to find like we once Joe Kent comes out and has his that's what we were going to talk about, but we don't have a ton of time. But basically, once again, the counterterrorism chief said he resigned because of he thinks personally that this is a war of aggression, a war of choice for Israel. And, it's just disgusting, man, how we see a lot. Once again, I feel bad and I feel exasperated that I'm just making, a stupid emotional argument. But I'm like, this is a dude that like lost his wife in Afghanistan to like missiles or an IE or something.
I remember reading something about that.
And then he has another wife now or whatever. But like Trump was mentioning like, oh, he got quickly married afterwards. I'm like, dude, who the are you to say like anything with this stuff, and there needs to be checks and balances, and there's not checks and balances. But I believe that like us young kids, man, like our young generation, like under 40 or whatever, like we can be critical of another country. We can still support Israelis, but we can't support people like Ben-Gvir and Netanyahu and Smotrich that are just, like I said, even like it's just like, I don't want to say that. It just seems like Zionism is, that's another thing. But, dude, we got to end.
I mean, I completely agree. I would even go further and say we shouldn't be supporting any government anywhere that has a hierarchy of basically apartheid, like what your ethnicity is or where you're born can affect your rights. Like
absolutely.
And it's just, I don't know why. It seems pretty straightforward to me, but.
Just absolutely insane. So, hey man, so this is we'll end on this and we'll get out of here. So this is one of the reasons why this was happening today. Another airstrike. This was in Israel continues strikes after Trump extends attack. So this was supposed to be after the ceasefire that like Trump said like, hey, we're going to make a deal with the Iranians and whatnot going on. Mm-hmm. And it's just so funny because we don't even know who we're talking to right now. Like there's a press conference where Trump said like, hey, we have an idea of like, we're not exactly sure who's in charge, but we're talking to someone.
Yeah.
And it's just so clear that you don't know what you're doing.
Or it's, they're okay with it being sabotaged.
Yeah. And so basically this happened a couple days ago. I need it. This is basically, we had a Tomahawk missile that hit a building that was next to it.
This is the one that's getting pressed, but the Israel and U.S., I'm not sure. But our forces have targeted like way more schools and hospitals than just this one.
Yeah. And so
takes greater care to avoid civilian casualties than the U.S.
Wait, go back. What the?
This is PBS, right?
Was that like unironic?
Greater care to avoid civilian casualties. Defense Secretary Pete
Hegseth it's the Hegseth quote. I thought it was the host.
Takes greater care to avoid civilian casualties
Still.
than the U.S. But the U.S. is currently investigating an explosion at a school next to an Iranian Navy base that Iran says killed more than...
I'm going to skip through this so you get...
Look at what appears to be the deadliest strike of the war.
Yeah.
In the
I've
moments
seen
after
this
the
stuff.
attack, the only sounds were screams. The school where many of these parents had dropped off their children not long before was now collapsed and gutted. The scale of death, clear from the air, rows and rows of tiny graves.
Yeah.
It's just indefensible. So it's absolutely clear that that the U.S. did, whether intentionally or we hit a building next to the school, but it's just like, dude, these are it was a type of cruise missile called the Tomahawk missile.
Yeah.
And Trump went and like I said, I have to show this video just to be clear.
Will the U.S. accept any responsibility?
Well, I
for that
haven't seen
strike?
it, and I will say that the Tomahawk, which is one of the most powerful weapons around, is used by, is sold and used by other countries. You know that.
I mean, no one will ever be held accountable for that in any way that matters, unfortunately.
I think if you're Gabbard, if you're Rubio, or resign in protest, and it's just, I think once again, like I have, we won't play it, but I have the link where Texas goes, we do not intentionally target civilians.
It doesn't matter if you did it intentionally or not. Like that makes very little difference to me. It's like it happened, and someone should be held accountable, but no one will be.
So yeah, and Hegseth was saying how Iran targets civilians. We don't do that, and so this is this last thing that he just said. I just thought,
The air campaign that we've conducted, that Israel's conducted alongside us, was one for the history books, truly. And it's because we have a president of the United States that...
I just hate how it's so like cinematic.
He's such a glazer. It's
It's so
crazy.
cinematic. Like it is the greatest strike we've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it's like you can still be what happened to the generals and the secretaries of defenses that would like shut up, and like if you would do these strikes you wouldn't be like celebrating, and
It's because he's a TV personality.
To fight. He unties their hands to actually go out and close with and destroy the enemy as viciously as possible from moment one. And that's why we see ourselves as part of this negotiation as well. We negotiate with bombs. You have a choice.
That's it. That's the summary in one sentence. We negotiate with bombs.
God help us, man. I don't
Yeah.
want. I was talking with my pastor friend the other day about how I feel like God's left like America in the country. And I hope that's not true. I hope that there's some checks and balances, but dude, like, I mean, it's clear, like, obviously, I would love to go and say, hey, this is just a distraction because of the files or other things. But this has been brewing for a long time, man. And it's just, it's this hollow feeling, man, which, I want to end the podcast on a good note, but it's just, this is, I think Dave Smith wrapped it up best and like, we'll literally kill the podcast, but it's just, yeah.
But I gotta say, I mean, it does seem to me to be just up there with the one of the most truly despicable things that I've ever seen a president do. And obviously, like, it's like morally speaking, the murdering of a bunch of young children is the government. He just started saying it was the Iranians who did it, and then of course, as you know, that for those mentioned, I mean, some of them might be bots or whatever, but like,
yeah,
a lot of Iranians just regurgitate whatever Trump tells them, even though they sit there and go, "Oh, Mr. Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth,
yeah, right,
the Iranians," and Pete Hegseth goes, "We're investigating it," because he doesn't on this. He just said it was them. It's like, no, actually, what happened is you just murdered a whole bunch of like 8-year-old girls, man. Like, it's just the most disgusting goddamn thing. And they're saying
it's really interesting too, because we learned about like how, do you know how Muhammad Atta got radicalized? Basically, you know who Muhammad Atta was? He was one of he was the pilot of Flight 11.
Okay.
And so he got radicalized when Israel there was basically there was a time where Israel hit a building in Lebanon in this place called Qana, Qana, and it killed like I think 300 like women and children, Muslim women and children, and after that he was that's what became him radicalized. So the head of like this is just creates more terrorism and more endless wars and whatever. So
one tweet coming in off of that comment, just put it in your Facebook.
Okay.
It's just kind of about how short-sighted our objectives are. Yeah, there it is. See if it'll blow it up.
No, I think it will. You want to read it?
You read it.
I'm not a political expert, but if you eliminated Hamas but killed my whole family in the process, my first move would be to start Hamas too. Yeah.
It's like that's
Very
what
funny.
we've been doing. And then we get surprised why like we're not achieving the results that we say we're trying to achieve, which is like stability and peace, but really it's because at least I think that our goals really aren't stability and peace. It's just,
it's imperialism.
Yeah. On that note, plugging this book.